I'm not really in the fucking mood to do this, but I will. Everybody, knows California. They had it all. They got it all. They still have it all. But I remember back in Tennessee that some people would be jealous of California because they had things maybe that you didn't have in your certain area and whatnot. But now the vice president, she's from California, and that's a first. I mean, usually they're from down south or something, and everybody down south wanted stuff that they had in California. The nice vehicles, the cool, everything like that. And they do in Nashville and all that a bit. But I think more down home folks now are getting to be higher up, more like California. It's becoming like a United States of California, which isn't a bad thing. If you're thinking other things like the Palms for a second, I understand not everybody wants to feel the Palms all the time, but it is summertime. I caught myself watching a video the other day, and I never thought about even watching any kind of video like this. It was sort of like watching palm trees in these really, really, really hurricane force winds or whatever. It was so relaxing watching these palms in the storm. And it gave me the feeling because I've been to Florida and I came back to Canada, but it gave me the feeling of Florida all over again. I didn't even have to go down again. I got my feeling of Florida on the computer, and then after about 30 minutes, I didn't need it anymore. And it was a certain time. It was necessary for my brain to watch this storm. Ooh, a California winter. I never understood the California winter and all that, but now I do. It's the state of California. You got the northern part of it, and you have the middle area, and you have the southern, and you have the Baja and all that. And up north, it gets cold. They have mountains, and then it goes to Canada. And it's basically the same. Once you get up north, it's like welcome to Canada, and it gets cold and the snow and all that. But you have the whole great state of California. You don't reach Canada until you leave California. So don't worry if you haven't if you haven't made it out of Cali or yet, you're still in California. Or to the contrary, you may be. And I've never entered California from British Columbia, but my auntie got to go, and she does. And I'm not going to tell you her schedule, but they got to go down to Colorado and go down to Colorado and stuff. So there's borders there with Canada to go up and down if you were that kind of person that wanted to go travel. See, they went to Las Vegas to do the traditional wedding, which Tom always wanted to do too, but Tom was a slave of the family. So Tom never ever will ever be, I guess that's what they're saying, I'll never get to do that stuff. But they were the top dogs of this family or whatever, and they got to go do whatever they wanted in the United States. It had nothing to do with money, it had to do with some other discrimination. But I got to go down there for a little bit or whatever for them to mock me or whatever. Not when I had any sort of money of my own, just kind of like this fatherly mocking of my character that they've done, which I'll argue that's going to be a defamation of my character, which I might have to end up suing the government for that, is how they're defamating my character with this Obama and saying that I can't freely go from the United States to Canada all the time like I was proper, like everybody in my family is, like I was originally and all that. So it's been a complete defamation of character. To see how they do law is hilarious. That's hilarious. There was this boy in school, he used to sniff my butt and whatever. And supposedly, because I didn't shoot him for sniffing my butt, he won his U.S. I don't get it, but I'm happier in Canada anyway. I'd vouch and say Canada's way better for me anyway. Much more peaceful here. Our air's fresh. We don't have a bunch of hoodlums in Chicago. We don't have that shit. We don't got none of that. It's all mostly good people. I got my EVs. Vancouver just sent it out. I mean, we got Jamaican food if you want that ting. We got all different tings if you want all different tings in Canada because we have different tings. So I'm not really mad about being living back in my home country of Canada. But whatever. There's a certain one that live in the US, eh? I know their characters. Now I'm not saying they're all bad, because Russell, my friend, is much like me, and there's a lot, but there's a certain character in the state of Florida. Okay? And my dad's one of them, and so is his wife, but somehow they extended to Tennessee when they should be state of Florida. But state of Florida ran out of property. They got so many goddamn birds going down there, whatever. They said, hurry up to Tennessee. They said, hey, John, you ain't as rich as you thought you were. Like, we're kind of filling up down here. Everybody wants the Florida experience. You got to go back to, like, Memphis area, whatever, because that's the only place your ass is going to fit in. So then he got his ass over to next to Memphis. But it's whatever family that Nikki's part of. I fucking hate their family. I want to see every single one exterminated. It's not every single person in the state of Florida, but it's a goddamn majority down there that I fucking hate. They're nothing but fucking pure thieves. They'll break into your home, steal your bike, suckle fucking piece of fucking trash. All they do is talk shit about Canadians, fucking redneck flying a flag motherfuckers. And there's the ones that fucking think they're so fucking mafia down there in Florida, and I want to see them get eaten by a fucking bird. There was no reason for your hostility when you are the way you are in our society. And then we caught on, so enjoy your time in prison. A lot of those pigeons went to prison and shit like that. They look like beat up pigeons like Phil Thompson looks like now. A straight beat up pigeon. That's what they call him in Toronto. They call it that guy's a pigeon youth, or he's a pigeon bridge on pigeon, straight pigeon youth. Dead pigeon on the fucking sidewalk, my youth. He's a fucking disgusting pigeon. Yes. And fucking you thought you was Jamaican. You is not fucking no Jamaican, the Thomas. Thomas is more mono than yours. You don't even know the fucking things I do for getting my bird seed and the seed that you get for free. I hear you're on the box shit, my nigga. EBT, my nigga. Die like Raticus, my nigga, you fucking goofs. I fucking hate some of you niggas. Die like worm when the rooster eats it. Because my dad owns roosters down in Savannah. And go on his property and get 12 gauge fucked up, bitch. So I don't give a fuck. And I ain't like that either. My family also was very big into naturalism. My aunties and all that, my one side, they were big into like being a naturalist. And some of them didn't know that I am also. Like my auntie Susan, she was big into like health and wellness and all that. And I'm big into male health and all that. But here's the thing, if female health comes along with it, it's human health altogether. We just use the term health or whatever. We use the term health or whatever. Because that's where it's at now. It started with identifying that I was a male and learning about male health and then all that. But now I'm at the point now, it's like, hey, we're almost pretty much the same things all together, what have you. It's health altogether. except women have every actually it's not just women or men or children or boys and girls that have different diets that they need to be on. It differentiates per men. I mean, per person. You could have two brothers and they should be on completely different diets. But we don't think about it nowadays. It's just kind of like, oh, so and so has, I was going to use an actual name, John has $25 and he goes and grabs whatever he wants to eat at the store, whereas Care, not Carol, Carl, who is brother, Carl's his brother, but Carl spends his $25 differently or whatever for what his cravings are and yada yada. But they're from the same family and they're brothers and all that. But Carl would get sick if he ate a banana, whereas so and so would eat a pineapple, and you know what I mean. So every person's different to that aspect of it with the health. I think the number one tip I could give for that is sort of to identify what your personal needs are and write it down. Would be a good thing. Write it down and make it a goal. Ask your parents, Dad, the food that you're eating, it's just not doing it, and explain it like, I want to be able to grow because if I don't grow proper, we won't be like one of these families, that'll eat us alive in the end. So I have to have special, I don't know, oranges or something, whatever the hell you need. You figure it out like that, but food isn't the only thing. You can do it with clothing. Oh, I have to impress this other family. When I was a kid, I didn't understand that necessarily too much either. I would watch the movies and I would see the boy impress the girl's family or impress other students and yada yada, and that's for a reason. I mean, the reason is, it goes all the way back to their home and their cousin. It goes all the way back to the whole nomenclature. Your impression. So sometimes if you make a bad impression on somebody, it runs with you for a long time if you can't beat that impression or what have you, to whatever circumstance created that impression, and yada yada. And all that. So sometimes it's harder to do that when you're a kid. I know how it is. Your parents are the ones that clothed you. So your mom and your dad, they wanted you to look cute. And at first you love your new clothes. But then you get older and you realize you want this. You want a suit. You want a undershirt. You want nice this, nice that. And some families can do that or whatever. And some families don't or whatever. You can't harass me about that either, about my pension, one of my pensions that I get. Nowadays, like I was being like a really nice human and letting you know about my pension. And I even told you about my disabilities. But then it gets to the point where it's my own private pension, and now you're doing a robbery and we're going to have to arrest you. Because that is my pension. You have nothing to do with it. I'm tired of talking about my pension. My life goes on. I'm supposed to be meal planning. I'm supposed to be all different things, getting some more clothing to be more presentable. I just bought new shoes, because impressions are a thing that's important, even if you're doing your duty and you're very skillful. You want to be clean, but you want to look clean. Cleanliness also comes down to the age of your clothing. How old is your clothing that you're wearing? I can't even do a proper job if I'm not in the proper cleanly clothing that's new or whatever. I do a way better job in new clothing than I do in older clothing. I think I learned something about that when I was younger. Same with dental. Since I got my tooth fixed, my work output, my workflow, my money, my gifts, my everything, it's been tenfold because I was sitting there staring at my tooth all day, rubbing at my tooth all day. Then I went to the dentist, got it fixed, and it's like it would never even It was like there was never even a problem, other than like this little memory of there was a little problem with it. So yeah, we're back to that or whatever. I got my teeth fixed, and teeth are a big thing. They're a big impression. I love giving everybody a nice bright smile now with my new vehicle, because there was a group of people that were really delusional. Like, whoa, bro, delusional. And you can tell who those ones are because they're either like this, or they're like this, or they're like freaking, where was that other guy? I'm a bit like this, I won't lie. They're not happy, that's how I know. They're delusional. So I might accidentally left some people delusional. And that happens with a lot of celebrities, and I learned that early on. I got to meet that Rick Ross, meet that gunplay. On the videos, they look like this. But in reality, they're like this. But then out of nowhere, they're like this again. And shit like that. So you learn about some people use that strategy, the delusional strategy or whatever, like. But no, it's not fraud. I went and got my tooth fixed, and you're delusional to still not understand that it was a slight dental thing. And you still say you're retarded things, and now you're absolutely retarded. You went from being delusional to now being retarded. That's usually when you're looking like this or whatever. That's after you were being delusional, and then you're going like this, like, oh yeah, that's StacksAMilli. And then you go look at your bank accounts or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, I haven't even, but that's a good thing because I kept you entertained and you made me some money potentially, and you'll be entertained again. And now you can go move on and do what you need to do if you need to do something. If not, we're good to go. We're sitting here, I'm here, I'm talking all day. Okay? Yeah, Madison did lie and say that I called her a retard, but I didn't. Or maybe I did in my head, and she should have said, Tom, I can hear you in your head. But maybe she didn't know. I don't know. And I said it. I don't think I ever said it. But I'm pretty handicapped myself. This is like my friend Project DA. He has this disorder. Now, it's not all the way cool to be handicapped either, because in the beginning I was like, well, in the beginning, when you learn you're a handicapped person, you're kind of like pretty happy because you're going to start getting your handicap benefits and all that and all that. And then they start to make fun of you and try to take advantage of you. And then it's start the time to become one of those grown men or grown women like the ones we've seen on that TV show. That TV show, they're like handicapped grown men and grown women where they have to legally fight for themselves. They have to figure out how they're going to fight these bad people that are abusing them or whatever so they can finally roll the hell on and fucking read a book or do whatever the hell they want to do or have their medicine or eat some food or have a conversation in the sun. That's the one thing I like to do a lot is have a conversation out in the sun. But right now, well, my friend that I used to have the conversation out in the sun with, he passed away. He was getting very old. And I am not as lively as this young man, but I'm a young man too still. Pretty young. I'm not 30 yet, I'm 28. Look at this couple, and stuff like that. You got a disabled man. He's more disabled in a different way than I am, but look at this. It looks like he's got a wife and a fiance. So some people make it. He looks like he had a good head on his shoulders actually. And that's why he was able to persevere to be the man that he is today. And that's one thing, once you identify that you're handicapped, you identify like what handicaps you have. And are they like one of these handicaps that are like a popular, highly supported one? It's sort of this community I noticed that, and I've been fitting in pretty well. I've been fitting in, believe it or not, because some people said, Like even me myself wondered. It was like, am I going to fit in with other people that are considered disabled or considered handicapped? And well, I do, because I am disabled and I am handicapped, and that's why. So that was great to finally realize who I am as a person. See, like, this guy's disabled, but I'm even more disabled than this man. I am morbidly obese. I have a really hard time moving around. I'm just like this guy, but even worse. I have fat all over my body, so it infests my cardiovascular system. And I feel like sometimes my blood sugar is, and it's unbelievable. I need money and money and money and money and money and money and money to be able to make sure I have like food, like good food, like, or I will die. I'm just like this woman, except I'm younger. So I deal with this discrimination of being her but younger. So nowadays, it took her a while to get on her assistance or whatever with her developmental stuff to get in her home or whatever and yada yada. Well, it's your duty to find your home or whatever until it's a safe home, or else, well, you could end up dead. That's your human right. If you're capable of finding your proper home, like this guy, I mean, but he has no arms and legs. And that's called abuse of handicapped people. And if you can process charges, the people will go to jail for that. But hey, it's such a bad world, believe it or not. My grandfather was killed by one of those people. They even did an improper surgery on me, so you have to be very careful on who is dealing with your body with the surgery. Some of them grew up reading that Mein Kampf, and they went the whole different way. They didn't learn from it. They were like, I'm going to be just like this guy and screw up their surgeries and all that. And that can happen. It does. But it doesn't happen all the time. But it did happen in my life. But at the contrary, there's been plenty of times I've gotten some great service. I had this disability where I could not handle it in my heart to be able to feel special like how this guy feels special for a really long time. And I still have it until I can get my tattoos fixed and all that. It's like this anxiety I have in my heart. It feels like I'm going to actually have a heart attack. It just doesn't feel right until I have my tattoos fixed, until my bank account's right. That's why I'm disabled. It's like there were actual women. They're saying like they want to keep lying, or they want to keep. And well, they're not, I'm not saying they're lying, but because they're not lying, but they want to say there was all these interested women, and they want to keep making it a legality where they're ruining my life and ruining my finances, ruining my everything altogether, which is none of their business, because I wasn't capable of having that woman by my side. Because of my father, John Slote, and his wife, Nicole, as well as because of my own, well, because of my father. I didn't have this kid, I know for a fact, he's on disability benefits, or he's got a really, really, really good family, like a father, or else there's no fucking way he wouldn't be able to afford the suit with the coronation flower and yada. This is made happen. It's made happen partially by the man, but also by his community. Exactly. So I was facing discrimination. And that happens. And that's one thing I was just talking about, is how I face disability discrimination. Some people do. Hey, I'm not going to lie. I might even discriminate against this guy and say, hey, this guy's not disabled. But that would be disability discrimination because, hey, this guy and this woman, they are pretty disabled. Okay? And look at this guy. He looks like a great guy. But look at his arm, and you're going to discriminate on him over his arm? Because he could have been a good Cam Thompson, is what you're going to say to me? Because he could have been this ultimate guy in the hood or whatever, neighborhood or whatever the hell you're talking about? Well, no, I'm so sorry. My name wasn't Thompson. It was Thomas. And why do you keep picking on me every day? Okay. And not to that point, because I'm getting my disability because luckily I did find that group that hey, if they don't consider it a disability, you die or whatever. You have to kind of fit into their group or whatever of specific disabilities, and then if then it's a war. All then yeah, it's like a handicapped war, and everybody goes to war, and that's what you have in the Ukraine and Russia. So whoever keeps trying to make it a war, that's the enemy. They're trying to turn our homeland. It's like that's I work for Homeland Security, and anybody that keeps trying to start that war or whatever, they're trying to destroy our great nations of the United States, Canada, the world, Mexico, everything. Our duty is not to create war, it's to end war so that we can go back to being normal folks. Or, you know what I mean? It ain't over there to go start war, to cause destruction, or else you're a terrorist and we have to eliminate you so we can go back to just like our remembrance days. And, well, we'll have a good remembrance day. I know that.